Good morning, guys. So this is going to be part 2 of the Axe collaboration that I'm doing with Mountain Manly, Jeremy, over at Mountain Manly. Where we left off last time was the axes had been hardened, the edges had been hardened. I had stamped my logo in. On the bottom of Jeremy's, I forged in a bottle opener here. And on my axe, the edge has been hardened, my logo stamped in. I did just a little bit of forging on this back spike to kind of round it a little bit, and then I'll finish that up on the grinder because it's pretty much just kind of a blunt point. I don't want it to be super sharp, but I don't want it to be really square looking either. So in this episode, I will get the handles drilled, get the holes drilled so that when I mail these to Jeremy, he could make the handles and put the handles on. We're going to grind the edges. I'm not sure if I'm going to grind them all the way to sharp or just do a rough grind. Probably I'll grind them all the way to sharp. We'll see. Because I'm not sure if Jeremy's will be coming back or not. Maybe he'll keep it. I don't know. And again, I'm not sure what we're going to do with these. Maybe at the end we're going to auction them off, or sell them, or we'll do something with it. We'll figure it out. I still have to talk to Jeremy to figure that out. So anyway, in this episode, like I said, drilling holes, grinding, and finishing out, getting ready to mail. So I want to say thank you for tuning in, and thank you for watching, and let's get to it. Okay, so I'm going to throw these on the mill, and I'm going to drill out holes. On Jeremy's, I'm going to be putting 2 holes on either end, kind of at an angle, so it's going to be following the triangular cutouts, and then there's going to be one in the center. And I'm going to be using a 13/64 bit, I believe this is. So it's going to basically be the holes are going to be large enough to use 1/8 inch pins. So whenever I drill holes, I do this when I make knives as well. I tend to drill the holes larger than whatever the pin size I'm going to be using is. That way when you're getting ready to do your glue up and you try to put your pins in, you don't want to have trouble getting your pins, because a lot of times an 1/8 inch pin, like an 1/8 inch copper or brass pin, they're usually not an 1/8 inch. They're usually just a hair over, which can cause trouble if you actually drill an 1/8 inch hole. So then when you go to put everything together, even if you had test fitted them before, it always seems like it binds a little bit when you're trying to put the scales on and everything's covered in glue. So I always do the holes a little bit larger. So let's get this set up, and then we'll get the holes drilled. Alright, we're set up, so here we go. Alright, I got my axe clamped up. A word of advice, if you're doing some drilling like this on an odd shaped handle, something like this, something with finger holes, you want to make sure that you don't clamp it down in the vise too tight, because you can actually crack these, which I did on one of my older knives, one of my EDC knives. They have the finger holes in them, and I clamped it too tight and I ended up breaking it. So just make sure you're paying attention to that when you're clamping stuff down. Alright, let's go ahead and get this one drilled up. Alright, this one's all drilled up. I was just thinking this spot right here, I might Might put some holes here and maybe add a piece of copper or something for an accent. Sure, why not? All right, so now I got all the holes drilled in here. Last minute change, I decided to add a copper accent here. So I'll get that piece made up, and then we'll continue with the filing of the bottle opener, and then the general cleanup of the whole axes all together. And then we'll start working on the grinding of the blades. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to file out the inside of this bottle opener just a little bit, just because it's slightly uneven, so I just want to clean it up, make it a little bit more uniform, and just make it a little bit nicer. And then I drilled 4 holes here. I wanted to put like a piece of copper there, you know, on both sides, some kind of like an accent piece. And then I realized that my biggest piece of copper is just slightly smaller than what the holes are. So, sorry, Jeremy. I guess he's going to have to do like a 2-part handle and then figure that out. I don't know. It should still work out fine. And then I think up here is going to be maybe some kind of a wrap, paracord or leather cord, something like that. I don't know. We'll see. That's going to be up to Jeremy to figure out. So anyway, I'm going to work on filing this out a little bit and then just keep on moving. Alright, that looks a little bit better. So now the next step is going to just clean up everything, and then I'm going to start working on grinding the edge in here. And probably, I don't know what kind of finish we're going to have on this, so I'll probably just do a once over both axes just to kind of clean up the finish a little bit, and then I'll leave it to Jeremy to figure out what he wants to do as far as the final finish. So now we're going to go on to the next step. Alright, so I got the axes all cleaned up. I didn't really bother filming that. Everybody knows like what a grinder looks like and how to do that. I basically just went in with a, lightly went over it with 120 belt and just kind of broke all the edges, and then I went back over it with a Scotch-Brite pad. So now both of them are pretty much cleaned up, ready to go, and then the last thing that's left is going to be grinding the edges. So I'm going to go ahead and do the layout now on that. I'll use some Dicom, and then I'll use my calipers and mark it out and kind of get where everything's going to go. So let's go. Alright, so I got some blue Dicom on the axes on both of the axes. So I'm going to go ahead and scribe my lines to grind to, and we'll show that right now. Alright, so first I'll start with the edges. Alright, so for the sides, I'm going to basically mark out 3/8, and these are going to be when I do this, I'm going to start with a flat grind just to get the majority of the grinding done, and then I will switch over and do a convex grind by basically removing the flat platen on my sander. I'm grinder, because with an axe you want to have a good convex edge on it. It'll help to push the wood away. Not that you're going to be doing a lot of heavy chopping with these, but I want to try to make them, you know, as good of a tool as possible. Alright, so that's got good lines. And then I will get to the grind, and I'm not going to film that because, like I said, everybody knows what grinding is. So let me get the rough grinds done on this, and then I'll be back. So I got both of them rough ground, both sides, and that was with a flat grind. So basically I'm going to go in now, and you can see the edges are pretty close. So I'm going to go in now and do a convex. So the way you do that is you take your flat platen off of the assembly, so it's just the two wheels, and then you have what they call a slack belt. So there's no support behind it really, and then you will have your blade down, and then when you grind it'll go this way, and it'll give you the concave convex edge. So it'll look like a apple seed, I guess a lot of people say, and then that'll give you your nice edge that will push away. Plus you want to break this lip here so to smooth this out, because you don't want to spot where the wood is going to catch. So you want to blend this as you're doing your convex edge. And these are the first time I've made axes, so I'm by no means an expert. All I know is just from watching Liam Hoffman's videos. So that's what I'm going for. That's what I'll hit next. These are pretty close to being done, or I mean ready to be shipped. I'm going to clean up all these, you know, all the Dicom and everything off here with the contact wheel, or the you know, the Scotch-Brite wheels, and then the final, we'll run this on the buffer to basically strop the edge and clean it all up. Cool, I'll be back. Alright guys, what's up? I'm back at home. It's getting a little noisy at my shop. I guess that's the problem with sharing a shop. Anyway, these two axes are finished. I got the edges done. They are nice and sharp. So I will be sending these out to Jeremy, and he will be finishing it up. So I'm not sure if I'm going to end this video here, or if I'm going to wait for Jeremy to send me back some either photographs or video of him making the handles, or possibly I might just make that into a third video. I'm not sure. I got to talk to Jeremy and find out. But anyway, these are ready to head off to him. I think they're pretty much done as far as my part. And then they just need to get handles made. So that's going to be it for me. Like I said, this video may continue, or it may end right here and I'll do a third video. But anyway, thanks for tuning in, and please subscribe and like the video and share if you want to. And make sure that you follow Jeremy at Mountain Manly and myself, the Hawaiian Viking, on Instagram. And soon these will be available either by auction or for sale or giveaway or something. We'll figure it out. Alright? Later.